Friday morning in Brighton, Colorado. Sun just broke out. I'm listening to my favorite genre, which is jazz. Good morning, fake ass America. I find it hard, in fact, almost impossible, to have faith in humanity anymore. And in my 67 years on this earth, I never in a million years ever thought I would experience what I'm seeing in this cesspool you call a country. And the very essence of blatant stupidity of a so-called civilized society of educated people, of all your Harvard, Oxford, these Ivy League prestigious colleges, gated communities of endless wealth. I can't understand how you can be so stupid with your masters and doctorates and bachelor degrees. And somehow there's a gulf, a split, a black hole of inept, ignorant stupidity that people can escape from in this country. And I had a conversation with a nice guy yesterday. And he brought up a subject about power of Jesuit in the Vatican. And he talked about the secret society, Illuminati, Masons, the Brotherhood, Skull and Bones, and their history of carnage, child sex trafficking, pedophile, child molesting, raping, pillaging, stealing, piracy, terrorism across the world. And it's the most powerful infrastructure in the world. And endless wealth within a religious oligarchy. And you got to question yourself. What level of humanity can exist in it? What level of humanity traffics children for sexual pervert deviance around the world? And you call yourself children of God. And you sit up there, there's propaganda of Mary and Joseph and Jesus crowns on your head and your catacombs and your hidden agenda to get extremely wealthy off naive, gullible, conform, compliant, brainwashed people that you preach this garbage to. And I posted some articles on Facebook yesterday. How Trump is nothing but a shield for the Vatican and this new world order. And I know some of you morons who don't think, you just sit there and hours of the day in front of the idiot tube being fed this pathological lies of uninformed propaganda that you're addicted to and can't get your heads out of your ass for a minute to think for yourselves. It's just like on the highway, you just follow each other. Although there's empty space on the left-hand side of the road, you'll just follow each other like a funeral procession. Same thing as your neighborhoods. All look the same. Cookie cutter houses. Same looking cars. There's no individuality anymore. There's no one who stands outside of the proverbial box of conformity and compliance and listening to that same old garbage you've been listening to for decades and centuries. And that's the ignorance and the inept stupidity that I'm talking about. No one has the guts and balls to challenge anything anymore. And when you talk about the revolution, and you talk about your militias, and you talk about those who fought against overtaxation, those who fought against the British royalty terrorist regime that tried to overtax and imprison people in debt. That spirit of your so-called America doesn't even exist anymore. You got a bunch of narcissistic consumerists of self-sustained idiotic morons, just like ants, just to and fro, just busy, all about pleasing themselves, and indulge in this gluttony of materialism and monetary means, of a wasted piece of paper, of a debt-based culture, slave wages that can never keep up with inflation or the cost of living. And you chase this proverbial bone that they have given you for decades and centuries, full well knowing you'll never own anything. Because whatever you own, it's taxed. And you're truly never going to own anything. But that's the proverbial enslavement that they put you sheep into. And I call you sheep because sheep can be led by anybody. And that's pretty much indicative of this country. The loudest mouth, the biggest bully, the biggest xenophobic, misogynist, pervert, egomaniac, mental ill, delusional, nutcase of adolescent tweeting, McDonald eating, con artist, witch doctor, snake in oil, scam artist can come in and just overwhelm a so-called civilized, educated society. Now you tell me, just how smart are you? And you have that percentage of your 1% that rules the 99%, because the 99% has no backbone, have no guts, has no heart or passion or conviction to even protect their own kids, as you allow them to get shot in your schools. Oh yeah, we hear about how many schools some nutcase white extremist hillbilly redneck went in there and just slaughtered kids, nightclubs, movie theaters. And as it's going on, as it's showing up on your idiotube, all you advocates, all you so-called caring parents with your fake ass tears and your fake ass concern about your children. And as soon as it's all gone and over with, it's as fast as it came in, like a summer storm, as fast as you forget it. That's a sign of reprobates. That's the sign of people who have no ethics, no honor, no moral value of anything in life. Because in the moment, you're fired up. And as it progresses, you lose sight and you go back to your same narcissistic consumerism of a self-sustained idiotic society, of a spoiled ass race of gluttony, materialistic people. What does it take? What does it take to get through to people like that? And even through your history of all the lies that you perpetrated, of all the inhumane crimes you committed. And I'm not talking about the white European disease filth that you dumped on American children. I'm talking about the Vatican. I'm talking about, if you go back in history, and there's decades and centuries of the same immorality that the greatest religious infrastructure this world has ever known. And you people don't get it. And I'm trying to understand what drives a class of people like this. What motivates you? I mean, is your materialistic toys, is your obsession with materialism and money so important to you that you lose sight on humanity? That you lose sight on common decency? When nobody helps an elderly woman across the street anymore, or if she's struggling to put her groceries in her car, you don't have the common decency of helping. Or you can see a homeless person and you just walk right over them, step right over them like they're nothing, like they're the dirt on the ground. And this is the example that I'm talking about. Yeah, because the children don't look like your children or speak like your children. And you can put them in cages, snatch them from their mother's breast, and put them in cages. And I mean babies and toddlers and children and young adults. And I struggle to have any respect for people in this society. It's because what my eyes see on a daily basis and what my ears hear. It's appalling. It's pathetic. It's asinine. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous to know that this is a society that you call civilized. And that's only because, and I tell you the reason why, that's only because when criminals, thugs, gangsters, mobsters, terrorists, barbaric, heathen, uncivilized filth are dropped on the shores of a country, this is what you get. This is what you get. Because no civilized nation of people would do such things. People who have common decency, people who have empathy, people who have passion for humanity, people who actually know what to love thy fellow man would never do. Because you do have a history of pathological liars, racist, bigoted, evangelical, Bible Belt, old Southern money, old Northern money, philanthropist idiots. Who believe that you're privileged, who believe that you deserve more than anybody else. That mental ill, delusional, egotistical, arrogant, self-sustained narcissism of mental ill bottom feeders. You think your wealth makes you a more powerful human being, a superior human being, or the color of your skin. But the very heart of you, you're animals. In fact, no, you're less than animals. Because animals take care of their animals. Animals coexist. And a friend of mine, we just sat and talked for a while about the state of this country and the garbage that you see going on every day, and then people are oblivious to. And he challenged me to just research deeper into this whole Vatican Trump shield thing. And I did. And I'm going to further explore this whole Illuminati, Masons, Brotherhood, Skull and Bones, hidden catacombs, hidden society away from the peering eyes of the public. And that's what they do. They hide. They had their little secret meetings and their little castles and their little gated communities that nobody can peer in and see what the truth is. And this whole facade, this whole charade about this Scottish piece of filth and his family, historically, for decades and centuries, nothing but a common Scottish mob boss, bully. And knows nothing, only to extort, only to steal, pillage, rape, just like the rest of this European filth that was dumped over here. Just like you dump garbage on the mountains of refuge in this country. You dump that same garbage in the White House and on Capitol Hill and in Congress and in your Supreme Court and in your law enforcement. It's like when it speaks up to your Vatican owns your CIA, your Central Intelligence Agencies, your FBI, your law enforcement, your military. Why? Because they are the most powerful infrastructure in the world. But you don't look at that. You just look at your daily TV shows. You look at your morons in the media, your Cup of Joes, your Fox News, your CNN, your MSN, ABC, CBS, and you have no desire to be educated. You have no desire to learn anything. You want to stay into that inept ignorance, stupidity that you are conformed, brainwashed, and compliant to. And that's the fact of the matter. And everybody talks about hope. There is no hope for reprobate idiots, because you will never know what truth is. In fact, you hate the truth. You hate to be informed. You love being uninformed. You love being ignorant. Just like your educational system in this country. Once you have a society of people who just accept whatever the extreme wealthy oligarchs tell them, they don't challenge, they just accept it because they have to know better, because they have all this money. No, they're not that smart. Criminals aren't as smart as everybody think they are. Criminals know that if you tell a lie long enough, persuasive enough, your weak-minded idiots are going to believe it every time. That's why con artists, scam artists can get away with things that they do. Because they know mindless, reprobate idiots will believe whatever they're told, because they never challenge it, they never research it. They sit into that confined recliner in front of that idiot tube, sucking down their beer or their little cocktails, and just listen to the garbage they've been listening to for decades and centuries, and will never challenge it. Because somehow they think money wealth. They have more education than we do. They're smarter than we are. Because they speak so loudly. Because they bully me, victimize me, suppress me. I have a big old military. I have these bunch of idiots, financial analysts, political experts. They think they know more than we do. No, they don't. They use your inept stupidity and ignorance against you. Always have, since day one, when you were colonists. They lock you into that mindset of a debt-based society, of slave wages, inflation, and overwhelming cost of living you'll never keep up with. That's always been the premise of enslavement. And that goes back decades and centuries, even during the Roman Empire. You enslave a certain percentage of people because the people are weak. They have no resistance. And the ones that do resist are a minimal percentage, and you just kill them off. Because you dominate by a military presence. You dominate by law enforcement of a bunch of mindless idiots who once again brainwashed to just follow orders, just like your military grunts and idiots. and you preach this propaganda, pathological lies that you're fighting for freedom and democracy and civil rights that you never had since the beginning, because you live in an oligarchy, not a democracy. You can't teach a reprobate. Because a reprobate never recognizes truth. That's why religion is one of the biggest scams in the country. In fact, one of the biggest scams in the world. Why the Vatican has become so powerful. Because you give people a dream. And you tell them about not God, not a loving God, not a forgiving, passionate, gracious God. But a God that they want you to fear. Like they want you to fear them. Or they want you to be a subservient, to give all your possessions. Unfortunately, they ignore the point when God told the rich man to give up all that you have, all your riches, and give to the poor. They don't tell you that part. Never. They don't tell you that part. They let the greatest among you be your servants. They never tell you that part either. And like mindless morons, you run to the Catholic Church like zombies. And all these rituals and images and statues, gold-plated this and gold-plated images this. Just like back in the day of the Roman Empire. That's your God. That's why we become to the state of where we're at right now. Because nobody cares anymore. That's why this Russian mafia idiot a shield, a goat for the Russian mafia, for Putin's Kremlin, KGB oligarchy, a bunch of criminal thugs, gangsters, and hoodlums can invade your country and you open the door for them and just let them walk right in. And your intelligence, and your FBI, and your secret army, naval, intelligence agencies allow it to happen. Because you're controlled too by money. And it's just like Mueller. Follow the money trail. And anytime a person is not going to divulge their taxes because there's something to hide. Anytime someone doesn't want you to look at their financial history, there's something wrong. And it's just common sense. When anybody's hiding something, there's crimes they're covering up. And I'll say what I said before. You were compromised when they dumped your asses on the America's shore. And you're still compromised by this Russian filth, by this Russian, European, Spain and England royalty terrorist regime. And it's never going to change. In fact, it's going to get worse more than anything. Because when people don't care about children, you're less than animals. When people no longer care about the elderly, when they no longer care about the environment, when they don't care about their allies, when they don't care about humanity as a whole and the protection of humanity, that their greed for monetary gluttony is more important than human life, there is no hope. And as much as you want someone to paint you a pretty picture, make it all colorful like the Wizard of Oz, you got to think outside the box. You got to look behind the curtain. You got to discover the closed doors, the catacombs, the hidden societies, the hidden money that nobody talks about, like the Russian laundromat and the racketeering of a Scottish family, a bunch of draft dodgers, tax evaders, extortionists, bankruptcy, Chapter 11s. That you're afraid to mention. You had no guts, you had no heart to retaliate or rebel against it. That's why you're subservient, and you always will be subservient. If you don't know what the problem is, that's the problem. CIA, NSA, MI5, MI6, law enforcement, Supreme Court lawmakers, legislators, House of Representatives, Senate committees, you're all subservience of extreme wealth. And all this facade and historical pathological lies that you've been telling people for decades and centuries is proof of it right here in 2018. You see it every single day. And this uneducated, non-reading, adolescent tweeting moron from Scotland is indicative of what I'm talking about. And until you people gain some balls, some heart, some morals, some ethics, some honor, some real patriotism, you will be slaves for the rest of your lives.